Hello, George, Phat Foodforest. Another compost video, but we've got Melinda behind the camera, so it's kind of nice. I can do a little better job of showing what we're doing here. We have a few systems we do it. For the two right here for our food scraps, it's going to be a red wigglers and a hot compost over here. So for our red wigglers, every once in a while we'll take this is our food scraps, and we'll feed this to them, and I'll show you how I do that. But that's only 1 out of 4 or 5 times we fill this. This gets filled about once a week. The other times we fill this, it's on the deck, has a nice lid on it, keeps the animals out of it, we keep a rock on it. So then about every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how much we're eating, how many kitchen scraps we have, that'll be full. Our chicken and duck waste from their bedding will be all ready as well, be soiled. So we'll combine all that, and we'll take a look at the compost over here. So then we take all those materials, there's browns and there's greens. Food scraps are a green, nitrogen. Even the straw with the chicken bedding on it, we'll consider a green because there's all that poop on it. Browns are going to be wood chips, straw without any duck waste on it, chicken waste on it, and cardboard, about all we use in this pile. What we do is we do a 2/3 to 1/3 pile. So it's going to be 2/3 of that brown, which is the carbon, to 1/3, which is the nitrogen, which is the green. So 2 browns to 1 green. And you can see as we layer up here, the layers of browns and greens. So we got 2 browns to 1 green as we go up. What I've also done as I went up is taken another compost pile we had here that was mostly finished and added that in layers as well. Because that, as well as the red wiggler compost, has red wigglers in it. I'm going to take the last of this over to the red wiggler pile because there's just so many in it, but you can see them. I'll step out here in the light for you. Just right full of those red wigglers. So that's not only becoming a wonderful hot compost with that biotic life breaking all that down, it's also getting digested by the worms and turned into a black gold, as they say, a worm castings. And here you can see the food scraps in the bottom there. We dumped some food scraps in there. I had excess to get us started. And I'll sprinkle these all over, covering it. This is the red wiggler bin. I'll explain the 2-bin system in one moment. When it's set up and going, I would normally take these kitchen food scraps, and if Melinda could look inside of here, I'd pull one side back in a corner, and I would dump them in that corner. I would put the food scraps in that corner, so that'd be our nitrogen source, and that's going to be smelly and stinky if we don't cover it. So then I'd cover it with some wood chips. And make sure it's covered with that carbon source. So again, it's carbon and nitrogen. We're not trying to get it hot. We're letting the red wigglers do the work. So this is a 2-bin system. We have one stacked inside the other. The one down below is almost finished. Still full of worms and some food scraps. But as they finish consuming everything that's in here, and there's no more food left, they can start crawling up looking for the food in the top bin. That's why there's all these holes in it. So they'll crawl through those holes when they run out of food down here. They'll crawl up and consume the food in the top, and I can harvest, and they self-harvest themselves, and I can harvest the worm scrap.
So the bottom bin starts with the same materials as the top bin?
Yes, all these bins start. Linda asked what they started with. I start with a little of the hot compost, but you can start with straw, wetted down straw, cardboard ripped up into pieces. The cardboard's nice because it has lots of the holes in it. And those holes are where they lay their eggs, so you can multiply your population fast. If you use the straw and wood chips, more of the carbon source, and feed them heavy, you'll get more compost out of it. But also as well, you can see we've stored that in that hot compost as well, so now that's just right full of those worms too. So it's another way of multiplying those numbers once you have it going if you have a compost pile. But for just your food scraps in the red wiggler bin system, it's 2 bins. We start with one with some straw, wood chips, cardboard, or a combination of those is our carbon. We get the worms established in there, and we start feeding it the nitrogen, which is our kitchen scraps. I do it corner by corner. Again, pulling that back, putting the food in, covering it back up. A week later, picking another corner, working my way around.
And those are just like standard plastic bins that you can get at Ace Hardware anywhere?
Yep, we got these, I think, at the big box Lowe's years ago for the aquaponic system. I'm George, Phat Foodforest. Change better than a holiday.